It's more of like an unboxing and a setup video of how to kind of get this guy prepared. Today's a beautiful Saturday afternoon. I'm relaxing. I'm in my grilling and chilling attire. And I have a new toy that I want to share with you guys. It's called the Slow and Sear Kamado. Gets delivered on a pallet. It's a heavy duty grill. Just read the instructions and put together the legs and the casters and all that kind of stuff. Then you're gonna want to set this up where you plan on using it. One thing to note about this grill is it is not a one-man assembly job. This guy weighs a good 400, 500 pounds. So unless you're the Rock or the Mountain from Game of Thrones, you ain't lifting it. Make sure you got a strong guy there to help. Be safe and be careful. I know what you're thinking. It's the big green egg, right? Wrong. This is distinctly not the big green egg. The big green egg is a brand of ceramic Kamado style smokers. Kamado style is just this body and style of a grill. Heavy duty ceramics. It insulates heat very well. Now what's special about this is its versatility. Kamado generally has the heat coming from the bottom of this unit. The Slow and Sear version comes with the regular setup of a Kamado, but also with their Slow and Sear insert. So you're gonna have true 2-zone cooking in a Kamado, which generally wasn't easily available before. I'm gonna show you how it can get set up in multiple ways. First, we're gonna set it up in a traditional Kamado setup. And to be clear, everything I'm gonna show you is included when you purchase the Slow and Sear Kamado. So first you got this grate that's gonna go at the bottom. That's gonna hold up your charcoal. It's gonna allow air to come in through the bottom vent down below. So your coals would go here, be nice and lit, and then you take this other grate, put it right on top. So you can kind of just grill foods just like this, or you could smoke them low and slow, and you use this deflector plate. So like a ceramic deflector plate. What that's gonna do is allow the heat not to come directly under the meat. It's gonna kind of billow around it, and that's how smoking works in a traditional Kamado. And then you place your grill grate right on top, and then you close it and you just cook that way. There's a reason why you would want to use this method, and generally that is to create the maximum surface area to cook on, which is then that much more optimized by adding this top grate, which is also included. So you could fit 4 huge racks of ribs on here this way and cook like that. So if you needed to get a lot of food on there, this is a good way to do it. Now if you take out this ceramic piece, you add the grill grate, and then you add this top grate. You can push coals and wood to one side and literally cook steaks like a Santa Maria grill on this top guy. You could reverse sear them, you could front sear them, but generally you can cook them over hot fire that's way down below, and you can kind of get really delicious steaks cooked under wood fire in that sort of way. So that's an interesting way to do it as well. But now I'm gonna show you the Slow and Sear setup. So I'm just gonna take the Slow and Sear unit and stick it on one side of the grill right underneath these little stools for the grate. It comes with this water reservoir where you can pour hot water in. You place it right there and it acts as a barrier between the coals and what you're cooking. And it sort of creates steam, which helps smoke adhere to the meat. So we're gonna leave that in. It comes with the dripping griddle with a grate. That's gonna go below here. So when you have it like this, you have one temperature down where the dripping griddle pan is, another temperature right at grate level, and then another temperature intensity up at the top. So you could have essentially ribs slow cooking at like 225 at the bottom. You can cook some like reverse sear steaks at grate level, and then you can cook some vegetables like corn, or you can make some chicken up at the top. That gives a lot of versatility. This portion of the grate easily comes right out, so you have easy access to your coals, so you can add more fuel, more water, whatever you need. Now what you can do is take the dripping griddle pan, place it up top over the coals, and you've got a little flat top to cook burgers on, or breakfast or something like that. Super versatile. And then if you need more searing room, you take the reservoir out, and then you have much more space to sear meats. And this guy is gonna get as hot as anything that's on the market. Nothing's gonna beat this thing when it comes to searing meats. So reverse sears, front sears, quick cooking meats like flank steaks, meats where you really just need to get char on them fast. This thing is one of the best things I've seen to achieve that kind of result. Basically right now I just got some simple ribs prepared the way that I did in my last rib video. I'm gonna just cook some ribs, do a test. I'm not gonna really wrap them or anything. I'm just gonna let them go. I wanna help season the grill. Doing a nice long slow cook when you first get it is gonna help blacken and dirty up the inside. It's gonna help seal the gaskets, and it's just kind of like a way of seasoning the thing before you can really just go crazy with it. So it's recommended that you do a few slow cooks before you just really let this thing go. So we're just gonna throw some ribs on, get this thing fired up, and check out the result. I'm gonna be using Fogo today. This is just real premium quality lump charcoal. It's expensive, but you know, this is an expensive grill, so I wanna use some good stuff. Never used this before, never used lump charcoal, so let's see how it goes. Get yourself some nice heat resistant gloves. You're gonna need stuff like that. 10 of these lumps into one of the corners of the slow and sear. Throw one of these wax cubes in. Just gonna put a thermometer in here so I can show you what the temperature differences on the top and the bottom are. It's got all these numbers 0, 1, 2, 3. Those are helpful. To set it off, basically we just want to set it to 1 to kind of aim for like a range of 225, 250. At the bottom, there's the same thing. Close this guy and then just set it to 1. Now we're just gonna get these up to temperature. Let the smoke get clean. All this stuff you learned in my last one, we're just transitioning it to a new grill. Same setup, but just a new kind of framework. And we'll come right back in about a half hour. So it's been about 20, 30 minutes. Grate level is about 220 degrees, below 166. So there's a huge difference between the two areas, about 35 to 40 degrees. So if you could imagine you're cooking something hotter at like 300, 275 on the top grate, you'd be low and slow smoking at 225 on the very bottom. So that's the top grate, that's the bottom grate. And so it's still climbing, and we're just gonna let it stabilize. And then we're gonna throw on the ribs. I just got these spare ribs right here. Just cut that little tail off of the end, and I'm just gonna smoke that on the side. Salted them and rubbed them down with my rub from the last video. So we're just gonna throw these on. I also opened the vents a little bit to like 1.5, 2-ish. These things depend on the environment you're in. So just sort of start at 1 and play around with it until you start to see the temperature rise a little. When you open it, you wanna just kinda not open it all the way at first. Let some of that smoke kind of calm down and then open it. That's gonna make sure you don't have any flare-ups. So we're just gonna throw it on now. If you're interested in getting yourself one of these guys, then I'm gonna leave some links down below, some affiliate links to Adrenaline Barbecue, so you could purchase directly through them. You could purchase their slow and sear for the Weber Kettle. And yeah, we're just gonna let this cook and munch on it later and see how it does. I hate shooting in the dark. It's about 5 hours of cooking. Slow and slow, it started at 225 and then I opened it up to 2 on both the top and the bottom vent just so I could like get a gauge of how this thing behaves when you do certain things. So like adjusting the vents, it sort of popped it up to like 250. So I cooked it at 250 for a little bit, just sort of getting a feel for the slow and sear Kamado. It's the first time I've worked with a Kamado, so I'm just sort of playing around with it and getting used to it. The slow and sear looks seasoned. You know, doing this 1 or 2 more times is just going to sort of help maintain this guy longer, help everything sort of seal properly before we do like super high temps in this guy. So that's the slow and sear. Again, links are gonna be down below if you're interested. And let's see how we did with these ribs. They're super yummy, even with no sauce. I probably could have cooked them for half an hour more. They're tender, super tender in some places. They come off the bone, but they still have a little bit more bite than I'd like. I've never made ribs with my rub without any sauce, so it's sort of nice to taste it on its own. Mission accomplished. We got our slow and sear seasoned, and that was the main point of this video. Bonus, we just got some yummy ribs out of it. If you want to learn the recipe behind these ribs, I'll leave a link down to that below. The slow and sear worked great the first run. I'm excited to use it more. You're gonna see me use it more on the show, and that's gonna be my new main cooker. So I'm super excited about it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm just gonna finish up these ribs real quick. 4th of July is coming up, so you better believe we're gonna cover some food for that. Maybe it's gonna involve that Kamado, maybe it might involve the Weber. It's all up in the air at this point. You know, my collection of girls has begun. Thank you to all my patrons. A bunch of you started to sign up recently and I'm very grateful. So thank you all. I really appreciate it. It does help out a lot. Links down below if you wanna check out the slow and sear or any of these adrenaline products. That's all that I have today. I'll see you next time. Until then, take care of yourself and go feed yourself.